called How Trash Taste Try to Deal with the Hasan Controversy. Connor C-Dog is coming out with his opinions about this. Y'all know what happened with this video, right? Let's see it again. 76,000 dislikes now. 25,000 likes. Nearly 50,000 comments. And they stood on business. We don't and have never deleted comments on any episode. Trying to see Connor's take on the situation.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. What am I...
Read the comments first. Oh. And the ratio not looking too good. Absolutely losing respect for Connor. Oh, this is oh shit. This oh no. Tone deaf response. I'm rich enough to be never affected by any of this, so please don't bother me. Oh, massive oh, Jesus. It's looking like this is like a bad YouTube apology video that got received really wrong. Anyways, I want to hear what he had to say.
Looking at. Latest episodes have been bangers. Well, we're just trying to mix it up and try to do different things. But obviously, occasionally, people don't like things.
Yeah, occasionally people don't like things, but this is not like a little oopsie. This was like, oh, this might be like a brand-defining damage control,
which happened not too long ago as well. But that's a whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you noticed. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is,
yeah,
and a lot of people don't like this because
let's hear it.
The way that we handle it, and the way that you should handle a lot of these things when they happen, like drama.
Ignore it. Ignore it. Move on. People will not remember drama, internet, online drama after 2 weeks. There's so many random bullshit that happens that people forget and move on. Straight up.
Is it just don't... Sometimes it's just better to just not address anything and just...
And then you addressed it. Why did you address it?
Let it...
Well, this is a clips channel. This isn't like a public video, apology video being made.
Just fade. Mainly because when things get too heated, almost, you know, no matter what you would say in that moment, people are still going to be unaffected. Going to be unhappy. Or at least, you know, the group of people that want an apology.
You gotta just disengage.
Like if you say anything, they're just gonna be more unhappy and it just adds more fire to the flame.
Yep.
So that's why generally we're just kind of like, all right, we'll just let it, you know, let it die down, let it move on. Let them get over it and have their fun for the week. Most of them are brigaders. Well, okay, look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So this is gonna get clipped as well. I know this now. So I want to be very mindful.
This is gonna get clipped, yes. Indeed, it got clipped.
About how I approach this, if I'm gonna mention anything here, is that I think there are a couple of important things to mention. So I think, first of all,
number one,
I think from our podcast perspective and from our perspective, if it is fair to say that if we don't engage in politics publicly, because it's just a mess. None of us live in, you know, the US. None of us are in any of these kind of intense political situations. I think it is also fair to say that, yeah, why would we bring someone political on? Which I think is a very fair and extremely, like, a very fair criticism of us to do.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are American. They all live in Japan. But, like, Hasan, I mean, you don't have to have a reason like that to bring someone on. You could have other political people that have a love for anime come on and talk about anime stuff, right? That's what the podcast is about, right?
Yeah, which I agree with. And then I think the most annoying thing from my perspective and this whole thing is that there were legitimately fans of Trash Taste who were unhappy.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because you can't see or like actually hear from people who watch Trash Taste or who aren't happy. Because it just turned into like a political dick swinging contest.
Agreed. Again, it is an absolute fucking fact that the amount of dislikes here and the amount of comments here, these are not all organic trash taste enjoyers. Many people brigading these things have never watched their content. They simply Hasan and go there to shit on it. Again, just look at any of the other like popular ones, like over here, Giga Chat is back, who I don't know what's going on over here.
So
Let's
then
look at this video, right? 700,000 views almost. The likes is about the same, right? I mean, shit, 25K like, sure, what? But I want you to look at the comments, right? Look at the amount of comments here versus here. Tell me with a straight face that these are all organic trash taste enjoyers. Abso-fucking-lutely not. A big significant bulk of the engagement coming here are all just anti-Hasan people that are not actual fans of their content.
About which side, which is bad on our part, because like we've never had any politics or any kind of talks like that in the comments. So I think it was kind of bad of us to kind of almost invite that. Second of all, the thing that was also very frustrating is that it, no matter what people were saying, there was a lot of brigading on a lot of sides. And
Absolutely.
I think two things can be true at once. There were trash taste fans who are unhappy. And there also was brigading happening, which is also very frustrating to deal with. Because then it's like, okay, now we can't actually listen to any criticism on the episode because both sides are jumping in, right? And I even told Hasan, I was like, hey man, can you not? Like, it's bad enough that one side is doing this. Please don't bring up the fucking episode and be like, hey, send people. I was like, just be above this. Don't do this. Because I look, if people who have very extreme beliefs want to go crazy, I can't stop them. They can do whatever they want. But you hope that at least another side wouldn't do that as well. So I told them, I was like, hey, please don't do that.
Both sides did it. So I guess I'm assuming that this is like before releasing the video, right? It's like, listen, no brigading, nobody brigade. We'll just let it just do its thing. And Hasan said, bet.
And he was like,
is this after? Or is this after the original session maybe, right? After he brigaded and basically said on stream, let's just leave the video alone. Just don't mention it or bring it up.
But I think as well, I told Hasan as well, I was like, hey, look, the show is not political. We don't want to deal with politics.
Why'd you bring him on? Because he gets a lot of viewers. That's pretty much it. This content is not political. We don't want to do political content, but let's have the rank 1 political streamer of recent years on board. Because again, Hasan does enjoy anime, right? He's an anime enjoyer. He's got a big, sizable audience. So collaborations, business-wise, if you ignore the radical political fallout, it could be good. Also, Hasan was on the podcast a couple years ago before too, right? Yeah, they're all kind of like friends in that sphere.
It's likely not going to have you on again. No, and that's not like anything like, hey man, it's just like, look, we don't want to fucking deal with politics. Yeah. I think the trash taste viewers also don't fucking want to deal with intense fucking comments. Mm-hmm. It sucks to read. People just getting fucking upset as shit about it. And I know
it's just overall just a nuclear meltdown. Vibes are off. Everyone is fucking upset. Not just the brigaders, but the authentic OG trash taste enjoyers too. It's just sucks for everybody.
Like fans of Hasan will be annoyed about that. But I just told them, I was like, look, at the end of the day, we don't want to invite like a fucking shit show to the comments. And I think it was ignorant on our part to think that if we just didn't talk about politics, that it would stay out of it. Because that was our thinking, because we already had him on one.
Yeah, and I heard that apparently there was some things being mentioned about how Hasan wanted to, like, I think he made a comment about Japan's culture and society, of it being a collective mindset. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he said, but the podcast, aside from that, it was pretty apolitical. But again, it's the person. It's not like most people didn't watch the podcast. It's the fact that this person has been saying so many radical, extreme things, gets a lot of hate, and they saw his face on it, and it was like, GG.
Once, and it was fine. But some people were angry about it. But
a lot of people are angry about it.
It's ignorant on our part to think that, if you didn't talk about politics, it wouldn't matter. But yeah.
So far, this apology clip is very sensible and reasonable. Hearing everything Conrad says so far, acknowledging that, yeah, we fucked up. It was ignorant for us. Listen, this is an absolute disaster. It is what it is. But, you know, this clip is, we're only 25% of the way done. And let's see exactly why it's so negatively received.
You know, a lot of things have changed in 2 years. I don't keep up with what's going on. You know,
Yeah, I think that they genuinely don't know what Hasan says, right? They simply saw that Hasan is such a big, sizable content creator. He enjoys anime-related things. They had him before. Things went well. A couple years passed. I doubt that C-Dog, Gig, or Anime Man watches all of Hasan's streams. Keeps, you know, locked in with all the random schizo drama that happens. I completely agree and think that, like, yeah, they were ignorant about that. They had no clue exactly what Hasan has been saying recently, and basically they're finding out now.
Get all of my news from the...
Yeah, lack of due diligence, exactly. Lack of due diligence, but to be fair, they had him on board before. They probably thought that, hey, he's probably still well received by the public, right?
BBC. I don't go on Twitter. I uninstalled it. You know, I think all of us were kind of blindsided by it. So it was kind of, you know...
Quite the shock
like
for them.
Touch. I'm like, I guess, like, I think that's safe to say if being in touch is living on Twitter and engaging with politics 24/7, because we just don't do that.
I think that's perfectly fair. There's some, you know, comments being made, being like, "Oh, like I'm rich enough to be never affected by this, so please don't." I don't know. There's like a comment made. I only what is it? People are basically just saying like, "Oh, what, you unplugged and you don't know what's going on? That's such an ignorant thing." I think there's nothing wrong with them being out of the loop because they don't want to engage with all the fucking unnecessary drama and noise that's happening. Like, not using Twitter, like, go for it.
Never done that. I think that it's unhealthy.
Agreed.
I feel like the level of vitriol is almost like at a point that is
people are mad,
like toxic to everyone involved.
Yep.
That
it's so hostile.
I have no wish to engage with it. And so I you know, I just don't. You know, I keep up with generic news, but I don't engage with any political spheres online. Like
and that's not a sin. Like, you could say, "Oh, how dare you be ignorant?" But I feel like, again, like, keeping up with the news here and there, fine. Trying to keep up with like the 23rd fucking LSF thread about what this streamer did about this politics, and having like a video that's like a fucking 7-way reaction section about this guy's reacting to this guy's take about this. It's just way too fucking much.
So it's kind of hard to keep up with. It's endless doom scroll. And I also think as well, and I think it's really important to mention as well, that I think some people forget as well, just because we speak English, and a lot of our viewers are American. You know, none of us have ever lived in America. None of us are American. We don't keep up with what is going on.
True. It's not their politics.
I already see too much politics from a country I don't live in that I don't want to know. I see more about that than my home, the UK, which is crazy.
Fucking beans and tuna.
And Japan as well. I get fed fucking more American stuff. I turn on the news. It's all...
Yeah, I think that everyone has forced American politics down their throats, man. Like, I'm Canadian. I know more about American politics and American history, probably more than fucking Canadian stuff, bro. Everybody is forced down that shit because America is number one, right? And there's a lot of content creators that's from America. There's a lot of political stuff too. Like, you know, it's just, everybody just has to know about it.
All American stuff. You know, and I think it's also important to mention that I think that, again, there were Trash Taste viewers who didn't like the episode and don't agree with it and who are disappointed. And I think that's valid, you know.
Okay.
I think it's fair to be. But obviously it doesn't, you know, just because we have someone on doesn't mean we agree with every single thing that they would say.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people just can't comprehend. That like, oh, you're friends with this guy, or oh, you collaborated with him. Therefore, everything that he embodies or personifies, you must agree with. That's like not the truth, right? People are so, they just see things in absolutes, like true or false, yes, no, black, white. It's like there can be a lot more nuanced things than that. Just because they had Hasan on doesn't mean they all are terrorist sympathizers, or they all agree with that shit.
Either. Now, fun fact. because I'm sure people are wondering. I was keeping an eye because I was looking at what was going on, and I loved looking at the stats because I don't know. Even while all this stuff was going down, I did find it terribly interesting to look at the back end stats, what was happening.
All right,
and it was kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. So the way YouTube works as well when you lose subscribers, by the way, is that it does it in increments of 10,000.
Yeah.
And so sometimes some people, you know, they love to be like, oh, they lost this many, right? Not entirely true. I can actually tell you the exact amount of subs that we lost.
All right.
Because I think it's interesting. And I think that it also serves value to explain that it is not just people outside of Trash Taste. We did lose subs. I can tell you exactly how many right now. Let me find out.
Juicy drama analytics incoming.
We lost 4,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Which
is not that much in the grand scheme. 4K subs is a lot, but you gotta realize that this is a channel with 1.65 million subscribers. 4,000 is fucking nothing.
It's not a lot, but I also think it is disingenuous, and I think it's bad to pretend like, you know, that people aren't unhappy.
Like people definitely are unhappy, but that negative 4K again is such a small drop in the bucket. And again, I straight up think that this is way overblown. I think that again, the amount of dislikes here in the comments, huge chunk of that, and who knows exactly how much. Let me just bring you Microsoft Paint here just to kind of like show you. Jesus Christ. Fucking anime man's laugh. Here's what I think is happening. If you assume that this is Trash Taste, right? Come on, color. Show me it. Why is this purple, bro? Color black. If you assume that this is Trash Taste, right? I think that a huge amount of people, how do I do this? I think that maybe a better example is this. Like if this is Trash Taste, then I think that the people leaving is like a small dot, like right over here. Like so many few people actually give a fuck about this and actually kind of left. It doesn't reflect a majority of their viewer base. Many people obviously are frustrated and upset, but I don't think a lot of them are saying unsubscribe because of you brought this guest over. That's fucking ridiculous. But what I do think is that there's a huge influx again of I don't think this is a good way to kind of show it. Maybe, what am I trying to do here? Would they have an overlap with the audience? Basically, I'm trying to show that there's a bunch of anti-Hasan people that's coming in from an outside bubble that is infiltrating and trying to make this shit seem a lot worse than it actually is. When all these people, right? Maybe all these people are still pleasantly happy. Maybe all these people have left. And maybe there's some people in between the actual, you know, brigaders and actual enjoyers of us and people who actually, you know, enjoy Trash Taste have been upset. But if I'm just, I have no numbers. I'm just spitting off the top of my head, but this is just my observation, just being such a data-driven person. I think that the majority of the hate is overblown and it's coming from this, which has nothing to do with their original organic audience. And that's why I don't think their channel's gonna die. I don't think their Patreon's gonna die. This is overblown hate for this person, and a lot of people who are actual Trash Taste fans, they would stick around and keep watching.
So like, you know, I'm like that's sad. I feel bad that 5,000, 4,000 people who watch Trash Taste feel like they can no longer watch it. That feels bad, and that's a miscalculation on our part.
I straight up think that if you're going to unsubscribe from their podcast because of a guest appearance of a person who you don't agree with, just because of one fucking thing, and you didn't even actually watch the podcast, you are a fucking NPC. Maybe you are such an anti-Hasan person, and maybe it's unreasonable for me to say this because the extreme things that he say, and maybe the targeted groups of the extreme hostility that Hasan's politics has, maybe you're impacted by that. And in that case, then yeah, I would be like, you know what, fair. If all the radicalized extreme things that this person was saying was talked about my demographic and they were impacted by it, you know what? Fuck it. I'd be upset and move on too. But I think most people are not part of that category and they just play on fucking tribalism and they just think that, oh, this person bad, therefore I unsubscribe. Like you were never a true fan from the fucking beginning.
There was also A couple of stuff flying around that was interesting. So first of all, a lot of people were accusing me of deleting comments. We're not deleting comments. We never have.
Okay.
YouTube has auto moderation, so naturally, if you put the word terrorist in a comment,
that's right. There is, you know, mass auto. There's like the reporting tool. Remember, I don't think that he was really deleting the comments. We went over that in the previous videos. Like, there's like brigading of comment reportings and stuff like that. Auto filters by the bots.
A lot of the time, YouTube is going to flag that because why wouldn't they? You know. And there was some of the comments were kind of crazy. Some of the language was inflammatory, and they're like, why is my comment being deleted? And they said like literally like the 5 key words that would get you banned.
Okay.
One other thing that I noticed is that when I looked at the comments and I'd scroll, and I don't know what's happening here, and I don't know what exactly is happening, but I would literally see comments.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the comment feed from the back end, right? So from like the admin side, some comments would appear. There were negative comments, which is fine. I don't care. That would have 10 likes within like 1 second.
Botted.
Which I thought was like, huh.
Botted.
Because on YouTube, the most important part of a comment's lifespan is not if it gets to 5,000 likes. It's if it can get a lot, like a 10 to 20 likes in the first like 10 seconds, because that's what will bump it up. So.
Botted.
I don't know what's going on there and how that works, but that was a thing. One other also thing that I noticed that I will just mention very briefly, I'm not going to get too much into it, is that there was obviously a lot of bandwagoning on it because people were, loving it and people don't like Hasan. And so people were jumping on it and making videos about it. There was a lot of stuff that people said that was just flat out not true, and people were just making stuff up.
Such as?
Some people were saying like, oh, they didn't have this guest on. They said they were too controversial, but they had another guest on. That's never happened. That's just a bunch of lies.
Oh, I remember people making tweets about, oh, wow, you won't collaborate or you won't have Nux Taku on the podcast because he's too controversial, but you would have Hasan on or something like that. I remember seeing tweets like that.
So I don't know what that was about. There was also, the only things that were disappointing for me, my perspective.
Brigading an anime podcast. True that, boyo. True.
As well, that like really, I was like, man, what the fuck? Is that people would then make whole narratives based around, because we had X on, that we then couldn't criticize any other creator. We couldn't, they were like, oh, these people have changed, they're horrible, yada, yada, yada. And that was like, oh, okay, that sucks that people are just making assumptions, but not a big deal. But yeah, no, I mean, look, the reason why we didn't address it right away, we wanted to wait, was because a lot of people were, they were just demanding things. There were a lot of comments that were like, you need to delete this episode, where I feel pretty confident in saying this, where if you ask Trash Taste,
I'm glad that they didn't delete it. I feel like if they deleted it, like, it might be even worse. Like, they should stand on business and be like, you know what? The podcast speaks for itself. A lot of people fucking hate it because of the person on it, but the content discussed in the podcast was nothing to do with political terrorism or whatever. Of course, it was a very out of touch guest to bring on, and let that be a lesson, and we'll just move forward. I think that what they're doing is perfectly fine. I think what Trash Taste has done, I think, is perfectly fine, and I think they handled it very well.
Taste viewers, do you want them to delete the episode? I think most viewers are sensible. They would say, hey, even if I don't agree with this episode or I don't agree with this one, I wouldn't want you to delete an episode.
Yeah. The people advocating for shit like this again are the bunch of like these people, right? These people. Like, people who don't even fucking watch Trash Taste. People that just want to see Hasan be deplatformed. Most people would just see the video and be like, I don't fuck with this guy. I don't like what he says, but I'm just going to move on. I might dislike it. I'm probably not even going to watch it, but I'll tune in to the next episodes because I fuck with their content. This is what I think majority of Trash Taste authentic viewers would behave. The people unsubscribing and screeching in the comment sections and saying delete the video, these are not true fans. These are random fucking zealots from other communities that are just anti-Hasan. And the people that are actually Trash Taste fans that unsubscribe from stuff like that, I think they're delusional. And maybe they're also people that didn't even know that they were still subscribed to the thing. They probably saw Hasan something drama, holy shit, and they were like, wait a minute, I'm still subscribed to this channel even though I don't really watch their content anymore. Unsubscribe. I bet a big portion of the people that did that is also part of that demographic.
I think That's crazy. Now, also, I want to make it very clear as well, in case you're watching this on YouTube, that because this is no doubt going to be a clip, that I'm sure that there's a good chance the comments, might get taken over depending on how big this clip is.
In this video, yes, I think it did get taken over. 6K dislikes, 6,000 comments on this one. Everything he said so far, I think, is so incredibly reasonable. Am I crazy, or is Connor handling this in the most reasonable and calm way possible? Nothing he said so far would warrant this kind of backlash and hatred. What the fuck is all this shit? I don't understand. Ben sitting at what a pathetic response. What about it was pathetic? I don't understand.
Please think for yourself. Please don't just read top comment and form your opinion based around that. Obviously, you're all adults. I trust you. And what I really appreciated is that a lot of Trash Taste fans did seem to be just tired of people picking a side and being emotionally charged about it, and we're kind of just like, hey, maybe it's not for me. All good. Next episode. Or hey, I don't engage with this. I'm done. So I appreciate a lot of the sensibility in this.
Yes, Gilgamesh was right. There's too many Zashus, and Geto Suguru was also right. There is too many monkeys. This is so insanely disappointing. What is disappointing about this? Yeah, not addressing would have been better. Honestly, look at this shit. Here's another thing. Look at all these people. Notice that there's only 2 comments on this one. 2 comments here. 1 comment. What I'm trying to show you right now is that these are fucking NPCs who don't even fuck with this channel. These are genuinely a bunch of random people who just saw this video and wants to brigade it because they're anti-Hasan. They're a bunch of fucking tourists, bro. They are genuinely, all these comments, 1 comment, 2 comment, nah, come on, bro. Come on. They're clearly, again, if you use this diagram, it's a bunch of these motherfuckers that don't even belong here. They're not true fans. They're random dudes that are just against this guy. It's also funny that a video on the suggestion. Everyone, also, there's even more irony here if you know about who Destiny is. These two, they hate each other. These two, the drama that's war happening between these two are insane. Both are also just kind of just going down the hill. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is a bunch of random fucking comments, bro. Absolutely losing respect for Connor. Who the fuck are you, bro? Useless discharge. You know what? Your name is perfect. You have 1 comment on this channel because you are a random fucking tourist who's just orbiting around Trash Taste and the content like that, and you just didn't like it. You're just anti-Hasan, so you're just typing this. Everything he says so far, I think, is so reasonable. Now, there is 5 to 6 more minutes of this video left. Maybe he's gonna say something so crazy that I'll change my mind.
Because I think, look, we live at a time where everyone is so emotionally charged, and there's just so much rhetoric and so much, everyone's got an opinion, everyone's got a side. And so I appreciate that people sometimes can have a sensible approach to it. I think what you will always get from me is never a clear-cut answer. You will always get an argument that I try to be as sensible as possible, and
yeah, because life is not that clear-cut. People want absolute stances, and that's why we can't have productive conversations. Things exist on a spectrum. Things exist on a likelihood basis. It's not absolute, binary, zeros and ones, trues or falses. This is a very nuanced situation where Connor, admits that this is an out of touch guest to bring on. They fucked up. They didn't do the due diligence, but they're sensible enough to think that, we can just move on. And many people who are actual fans would not just randomly brigade and quit their subscriptions and stuff like that, as shown by the viewership. I think the amount of backlash that he's still getting is just a bunch of brigader monkeys who, again, are just there to hate on Hasan and don't actually give a fuck about Trash Taste content.
Try to consider all sides, and I'm not.
Yeah, they want him to turn on Hasan. All these people here commenting shit like that, they wanted Connor, maybe Anime Man and Giga also to come out publicly state that fuck Hasan and we are no longer, gonna be in touch with them. That's what they want. That's why this kind of backlash is happening.
like a centrist or anything like that or whatever, or any fucking thing like that. The reason I don't talk about my political opinions online is not because I don't have any political opinions, it's just because I just think that the online space does not get anything out of me talking about it. There's nothing to engage. I don't think it provides any value. I just hate France, and I think that's a fair opinion.
What the hell? What did the French do? There's some beef going on with the Brits and France, right? Anyways.
But, you know, at the end of the day, I feel that the internet would be a lot better off if some people just knew how to shut the fuck up.
Yep, true.
And that's kind of where I stand. And so I'm of the opinion that, look, I think I'm an informed guy, but I also recognize that the internet doesn't benefit from me sharing my opinion.
That's fair.
And it's okay also to not have an opinion. I think it's also okay to not give a fuck, because I think it's kind of fucking exhausting right now.
It is. That's why
look,
people are
you don't always have
apathetic.
to be on 24/7. I think you can
Go touch some fucking grass, man. People are so plugged in. People are so dialed in, rallying their cause online, you know, tribalism, team sports, identity politics, culture wars, trying to get as mad as possible. It's just too much. That's why, again, unplugging and not being up to date with the most recent political drama is a good thing. It's not like random ignorance. It's a good thing, I think, to step away from that.
tackle it at your own way. You can tackle it in a way that you want. But, you know, I was inevitably going to talk about this at some point anyway, just because I wanted to talk about it as well. I didn't feel pressure to talk about it at all, but I thought there's a lot of interesting things to discuss, and I'm sure I'm going to look back at this clip and feel like I should have said 10 different things differently.
Yeah.
But I think the underlying point is the same. Of like, look, to the Trash Taste fans that are disappointed, sorry, you know, that was
Valid.
unfortunate. Are we going to delete the episode? No. If you
They
did you
shouldn't.
unsubscribe, okay, I apologize for that you felt the need to unsubscribe.
I'd say fuck those people that unsubscribe. You don't fuck with the content, get out of here. I'm still of that belief. If you unsubscribe because of that one podcast that you most likely didn't watch and you just did it because you hate the person on it, you are a fucking bot. You don't actually care about their content. Most reasonable people would have simply disliked it, not watched it, and just moved on and watched something next. If you like this is the type of people that goes on and like burn jerseys. Like their favorite player or some drama happened and they start like let's say like, oh, Nike is in some sort of like big drama right now, and a bunch of monkeys will try to like be all theatric and post videos of them like burning like in Nike jerseys and shirts and stuff like that. Like, come on. You don't believe in this shit. You're just doing this for fucking theatrics. You're just attention whoring right now. What are you doing?
But at the end of the day, you know, there was it was just we did not estimate what would happen. And then
Manga readers burning the manga because of the ending. Oishinoku the manga. Well, I feel like that might be a bit different because that's like the conclusion of their series and they're just fucking disappointed, but still it is theatrics. Like if the Oshinoko series, like if something crazy happened in the middle of the story and the story was still going and they all burned it and say we're no longer reading, that'd be pretty fucking cringe. But like if they're just upset with the ending, all right. But yeah, it is at the end of the day still the theatrics. They're just trying to make a big scene, trying to be like, oh, we don't fuck with this person, we don't support this cause, we don't agree with this brand. Now we're gonna like fucking piss on this or set shit on fire to make a point, like stance.
And there's like a million drama channels that jump onto it, and it's like, okay, this is just, you know, it went from being the opinion of actual Trash Taste fans to very quickly becoming the opinion of like certain groups,
absolutely,
who would just kind of rally around it.
Yep. Like I don't think there's any like again there's just like a huge injection of such a foreign audience that are just anti-Hasan people that again the comment section does not reflect what the official Trash Taste is. Again, just look at the fucking comment section, bro. You're really gonna tell me on a video that got similar viewership, like 50,000 comments, bro? It's not even double. It's not even like 5x. It's not even 10x difference, bro. 50,000 versus almost 2,000, right? Like just look at the number difference. It is so obvious to me that everyone disliking and commenting here, a significant portion of them are not even trash taste enjoyers. They're just having their own. They basically hijacked the trash taste platform, and it's a bunch of pro Hasan and anti Hasan people feuding in the comment section.
So yeah, it was unfortunate, and you know, people will all come into chat or they comment and stuff, and they're like, hey, when are you, how fucking dare you? Are you going to address this? Yeah,
How
yeah.
dare
it's
you?
Like, look, at the end of the day, if I address it, a lot of these groups of people are not going to be happy with anything or any kind of response, right?
Yep.
Because if you say I'll delete,
the only response they'd be happy is if he publicly like said, I hate Hasan. I will never work with him. That was a mistake, and we're going to delete the video. That's what they want. But guess what? The people demanding that response, I don't think would be even organic trash taste enjoyers. If we just go again, look at this diagram, it's going to be these motherfuckers here. Bulk of the OG trash taste enjoyers, they don't care. They're reasonable, sensible people that care about the content. The people that are actually angry and acting and demanding a public like execution of Hasan in a public relation way is again just the orbiters that are not organic fans of their content, and they shouldn't bend to their knees. No, I think what Connor's doing is perfectly fine. It's just so fucking cringe to see again this brigade here in the comment section here who are clearly not actual trash taste enjoyers but just wants to dunk on Hasan.
delete it. A lot of fans who didn't give a fuck will be annoyed if you say, all right, we won't delete it, then they'll get annoyed no matter what, and then maybe it's deleting is not enough for some people, So if you start trying to chase apologies, you end up just pleasing no one and just looking like a coward.
Yes, agreed. Stand on your beliefs.
Which is why when Hasan saw it and he felt bad and he was like, hey, are you gonna make a statement or anything? I was like, no, I'm not gonna make a fucking statement. Who gives a fuck?
A lot of people.
Like you're not gonna please anyone by making a statement.
True. Goes on to make a statement. It's a different statement.
People just want to be annoyed because they want to be annoyed right now.
Yes, they are.
You didn't watch?
People are just miserable and they just want to constantly engage in negative engagements. The world is more isolated and depressing and as hard as ever. Everyone is just riled up and angry. They just want to find an excuse to be mad at. That's it.
You moved on? Look, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think the internet would be so much better if we had a bit more respect. But hey, look, that's how it goes.
Yep.
And
I think there is, again, such an insidious thing about internet and social media in general about how it rewards negative engagements. Like, again, happy people don't leave comments. Angry, frustrated, upset people are the ones that leave comments and engage. Social media, especially on Twitter too, it really promotes negative engagement, rage baiting, right? Rather than glazing and saying nice things, it's all about the frustrations and the anger that they really captivate on. And that's just like a real thing too. I mean, even like YouTubers, right? Even myself, I talked about how, 100 positive comments means fucking nothing, but one negative comment and you focus on that and you get triggered by that more. Why does one negative comment weigh more to you than 100 positive ones? Because in our egos, in our state of minds, we just assume that the glaze, the positivity is the default normalcy. This is to be expected. So as soon as someone is doing something that is not expected, you get upset by it, or at the very least, this is how I like rationalize things in my head. That's why I just assume everyone is a monkey, which might be a very extreme and a hostile and a very toxic mindset. But I do truly believe that this mindset of mine has allowed me to grind in a very stoic way and to have a very neutral, balanced mental health, where a lot of people get burnt out and get frustrated and they take the negative comments so fucking hard to heart because they read so many positive comments and they just are like, oh, people must love me. This is it. I am him. Glaze, yes, glaze me. And then they see one negative and they get pissed off. That's why I don't give a fuck about any of that, right? Focus on the content and having a good time and entertaining. Those comments, yeah, I do appreciate the positive ones, but at the end of the day, like, all of you are monkeys to me by design. I'm the monkey king and we just grind content.
You will engage in the cultural. I'm doing everything in my fucking power not to. Because I don't give a fuck. Because I feel like half the time, it's not even about like politics or anything like that. It's just about being right or wrong.
Yeah. And it's not even like a right or wrong of like what's objective, the truth. It's about like what's right or wrong according to like them. It's, again, team sports. It's like, Are you Team Hasan or are you anti-Team Hasan?
Well, being on the side, it's just pure
Yeah.
tribalism, man. And I just don't want to engage with it.
Agreed.
It's just bad for your brain. It just doesn't help. I just feel worse whenever I read any of this shit.
Yep.
Or when
That's why I don't post on Twitter or engage on Twitter. It's a waste of fucking time.
I like whenever there's like absolutely demonstrably false things being said, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? I can't engage with this anymore.
Just pisses
Like-
me off.
Yeah. So, look, and that's why again I want to reiterate that we told Hasan because we saw him reacting to it and being like, hey, get in there and stop. He was trying to brigade against people who were brigading it, who they were. There was Trash Taste fans who didn't like it, and there was people brigading. And I told Hasan, I was like, don't do this. I think it's petty, makes you look bad. And I think it's pathetic. So don't do this. Don't tell people to get in there and fucking brigade it. So I think it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I think that whole like Hasan starting to brigade really got the opposing side such a good excuse to shit on them even more. If Hasan didn't brigade, who knows what the outcome would have been like. That was truly a mistake though. That was such an astronomical fuck up.
So yeah, that's that. That's pretty much all there is to it. I think it's not going to be a lot. I apologize, people who are not going to be satisfied with me talking about it in this way. This is the best you're going to get. I've genuinely nothing else to add. I wish it was more eloquent, and I wish I had a script. But I think also these are the kind of situations where I think it's just better to be honest.
Yeah.
And just talk about it candidly.
I think that just doing a one-off, unedited, just his take on this is perfectly fine. Everything I've heard so far has been so reasonable. Does getting that much dislikes do something to the YouTube algorithm? Negative likes, it doesn't fucking matter, right? If dislikes was such a deterring thing, how could this video get, 250,000 views and more, right? If negative dislikes were so bad, how could, this video get 76,000 dislikes but almost get 700k views, right? Comments and dislikes, likes, they're all just signals, engagements. I don't know exactly how YouTube categorizes it, but I don't think it's going to significantly impact your viewership.
And also, yeah, that's it. No, I didn't have anything else.
All right. It's so cringe, bro. It's so cringe that I just sat here and watched the 17-minute, 31-second video about Connor giving the most sensible, reasonable take about the fallout of the most recent, or not the most recent, but the controversial Trash Taste podcast. And all you have in the comment sections are a bunch of fucking retards, a bunch of tourists who are upset because they didn't hear Connor say, fuck us on, we're gonna delete the video. So cringe, bro. So absolutely cringe. Right over here. You're all adults. I trust you. That's your first mistake, buddy. This is a very sensible comment because that's the comment that he made saying, oh man, this video is going to get clipped, man. Surely people are going to have a reasonable response to this. Absolutely not. What a pathetic response. What is pathetic about this? You know what the pathetic thing is? Acting as role-playing and LARPing like you're actual enjoyers of his content. Trying to speak on his behalf because you're upset that the person that you're triggered by was not denounced by a guy that you don't even fucking watch. Fence sitting, not even. It's so cringe when you try to have a nuanced take, when you try to have a reasonable nuanced take that's not just littered in absolutes, trying to take an extreme, this is right, this is wrong take. Life is a lot more complicated than that. But a bunch of retard children will make these kind of things. Fence sitting. Bunch of NPCs. This is so insane and disappointing. The only disappointing thing is this comment section, bro. A shitty ass comment section who are not, again, even enjoyers of Connor's, but are just anti-Hasan, and they didn't get the response that they wanted out of this guy. So fucking cringe. Please go check out Connor's channel. I mean, this is the Clips channel. Go give the Clips channel a like and subscribe to them if you want. I'll see you next time.